ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀਓ। ਸੋਰਠ ਮਹੱਲਾ ਪੰਜਵਾ। ਹਮਰੇ ਗਣਤ ਨਾ ਗਣੀਆਂ ਕਾਈ, ਆਪਣਾ ਬਿਰਦ ਪਛਾਣ। ਹਾਥ ਦੇ ਰਾਖੇ ਕਰ ਆਪਣੇ, ਸਦਾ ਸਦਾ ਰੰਗ ਮਾਣ। ਹਮਰੀ ਗਣਤ ਨਾ ਗਣੀਆਂ ਕਾਈ, ਆਪਣਾ ਬਿਰਦ ਪਛਾਣ। ਹਾਥ ਦੇ ਰਾਖੇ ਕਰ ਆਪਣੇ, ਸਦਾ ਸਦਾ ਰੰਗ ਮਾਣ। ਸਾਚਾ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸਦ ਮਿਹਰਬਾਨ, ਬੰਦ ਪਾਇਆ ਮੇਰਾ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਪੂਰੈ, ਹੋਈ ਸਰਬ ਕਲਿਆਣ। ਰਹਾਉ ਜਿਉ ਪਾਏ ਪਿੰਡ ਜਿਨ ਸਾਜਿਆ, ਦਿੱਤਾ ਪੈਨਣ ਖਾਣ। ਆਪਣੇ ਦਾਸ ਕੀ ਆਪ ਪੈਜ ਰਾਖੀ, ਨਾਨਕ ਸਦ ਕੁਰਬਾਨ। ਜਿਉ ਪਿੰਡ ਜਿਉ ਪਾਏ ਪਿੰਡ ਜਿਨ ਸਾਜਿਆ, ਦਿੱਤਾ ਪੈਨਣ ਖਾਣ। ਆਪਣੇ ਦਾਸ ਕੀ ਆਪ ਪੈਜ ਰਾਖੀ, ਨਾਨਕ ਸਦ ਕੁਰਬਾਨ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, today Guru Arjun Dev Ji Sache Paatshah, they have blessed us with this Pavan Pitra Hukamnama Sahib from Sachkhand Sri Harmandir Sahib on Ang 619 and then goes over to Ang 620. It's in Sorat Rag, Mahalla Panjava. Guru Arjan Dev Ji Paat Ji say to us today, Hamri Ganat na ganiya kai, apna bird pachan. They're telling us about Vaheguru Ji's nature. Bird means nature, and they're saying that Vaheguru Ji's nature is always intact, meaning that Vaheguru Ji doesn't change. Not like someone like me, one day something, the other day something else. Kevri koch, some up and down, utte thalle. But Vaheguru Ji enj nahi gaye. But Vaheguru Ji is not like that. Vaheguru Ji apna bird pachan here. We will not recognize, we will not translate to recognize, but Chan here, Vaheguru Ji always remains as they are. So what is that bird, what is that nature that Guru Arjan Dev Ji Paat Ji wants to bring forward for us today? To wo kehn lage kende hamri ganat na ganiya kai, that is something that Vaheguru Ji does not do. And what is that? Hamri ganat, our account, na ganiya, does not keep into account. Vaheguru Ji does not look at our past. And so this is such a huge lesson for us, that how beautiful the nature of Vaheguru Ji is. Vaheguru Ji is not going to say, well, you know what, let me just check out what you did first yesterday, and only then I'll think about if I'm going to embrace you in this moment. Oh no, even though now you're okay, even though now you're all good, and even though now you have come to that place of submission and you have surrendered, but that doesn't matter, because I'm going to have a look at what you did yesterday. No, Vaheguru Ji does not work like that. Because Vaheguru Ji da birdi niga, because that's not Vaheguru Ji's bird, that's not Vaheguru Ji's nature. Vaheguru Ji ta Sahib mera neet nawa, sada sada datar. Guru Sache Paatshah Ji, Guru Nanak Dev Ji Paat Ji tell us, and those of you that read Shabd Hazare Ki Bani, you'll be familiar with this. It's made up of 7 different Shabads, and Paatshah kehn lage kende Sahib mera neet nawa, because Vaheguru Ji is a nit nawa. Nit means every moment Vaheguru Ji is new. So they take us for what we are in that moment. And so Hamri ganat na ganiya kai, you don't take my accounts into account. That's how amazing Vaheguru Ji is. And that's why Sache Paatshah Ji in Bani, they do this benti as well, and they're saying, hey Vaheguru Ji, kende mere gun avagun na bichariya. Kende, this is what you are like, Vaheguru Ji. Kende mere, you know, my gun. So this is where now it can get a little tricky if we actually look into this. Somebody, Pacha Ji is saying here, kende mere gun, my merits. So all the good that I do. Kende mere gun avagun, and then avagun, my demerits. Na bicharya. Bicharya means that Vaheguru Ji did not take into account whether it be my merits, whether it be my demerits. Kende why? Kende kyun nahi? Kende karke kende prabh apna bird samarya. Because Vaheguru Ji prabh apna, see that same word again that we're looking at in the Hukamnama Sahib, apna bird pachan, prabh apna bird samarya. Because this is Vaheguru Ji's birth, this is Vaheguru Ji's nature. But one might think that, oh, how does that work then? What about Vaheguru Ji's not going to take our good into account? Well, no, why would we want to do that? There's a danger in that. If I say, well, Vaheguru Ji, that I want you to have a look at all the good that I've done. Remember, ਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੀ ਜੀਵਨ ਦੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਬੁੱਕ ਫੜਾ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਤਾਂ ਉਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੀ ਉਹ ਬੁੱਕ ਫਰੋਲਣ ਲੱਗ ਪਿਆ ਤਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੈ ਜਾਊਗਾ ਨਾ ਫਿਰ ਪੰਗਾ. So what that means is, translating that into English, if we've got our book of the good that we've done, and we say to Vaheguru Ji, yeah, check this out, look at my book, look at all the good, I want you to remember all of this, I want you to keep it in mind, all the good stuff that I've done as well. But remember, if Vaheguru Ji starts to go through that, we're going to be in trouble, because there's going to be so many places where we've messed up, where we've actually fallen. And then Vaheguru Ji will have to take that into account as well. So we can't just say, Vaheguru Ji, look at my good, because then Vaheguru Ji will have to look at all the bad that I've done as well. So Sache Paatshah, so best thing for us to do is say, Vaheguru Ji, that your birth is so beautiful, you, Vaheguru Ji, live in this moment, Neet Nava. So I'm not saying for you to look at anything of mine. Vaheguru Ji, just take me for what I am right now. And the only way that Vaheguru Ji can embrace me right now is Jema Degjama, if I fall. And that's why Baba Nand Singh Ji, I like to share these little sayings, because I've noticed it's great that Sangat Ji, that you give us feedback. And please do continue to give us feedback, because some of the feedback was that, these little stories keep us inspiring. Someone says these examples are good. So for us to know what, we make many mistakes as well. And you keep helping us and showering us with your comments, Sangat Ji. So, Paatshah ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗੇ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਗੁਣ ਅਵਗੁਣ ਨਾ ਵਿਚਾਰਿਓ, ਪ੍ਰਭ ਆਪਣਾ ਬਿਰਦ ਸਮਾਰਿਆ. Baba Nand Singh Ji would say, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸਿੱਖਾ ਹੁਣ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਤੂੰ ਵੇਖ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ look, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ it's like this is how it works. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ there's this a very famous saying, and this was very popular in India, and that saying was what? ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਰੱਬ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ ਨਾ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਰੱਬ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕੋਈ ਦੇਰੀ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਨੇਰੀ ਨਹੀਂ. ਹਨੇਰੀ can be translated to darkness. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ there's no darkness in the house of God, meaning that what that means is there's always light at the end of the tunnel. So you can't surrender to God and think that there's not going to be any light. But the famous saying was, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਰੱਬ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਨਿਆਂ ਹਨੇਰਾ ਨਹੀਂ, there's always justice. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ but ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਦੇਰੀ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਹੋਵੇ. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ but there might be a little delay where you have to actually wait to see that light for you to be embraced by God. Baba Nand Singh Ji ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗੇ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੰਸਾਰ ਦੇ ਲੋਕ ਤਾਂ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਇਹ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਹਿਣ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ the people of the world might say this, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ people of the world, whatever their experience is, whatever practice they are doing, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ they might be basing it on that. ਪਰ Baba Nand Singh Ji ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਾ ਸਿੱਖਾ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ O Sikh of the Guru, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇ ਦਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੰਜ ਨਹੀਂ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ it's not like this in the house of Guru Nanak. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਐਵੇਂ ਆ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ in the house of Guru Nanak is like this. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਾ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਨੇਰੀ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ there is no darkness, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਾ ਹੀ ਸਿੱਖਾ ਦੇਰੀ, there is no delay as well, where you have to think that this isn't happening. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਪਰ ਸਿੱਖਾ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਬਸ ਜੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਦੇਰੀ ਕੋਈ ਹੈ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ if there is a delay in anything and you're not seeing the light ਕਹਿੰਦੇ the delay is only in what ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸਿੱਖਾ ਜੇ ਦੇਰੀ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਸਿੱਖਾ ਤੇਰੇ ਡਿੱਗਣ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਦੇਰੀ ਆ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਪਰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਜਿੱਦਣ ਤੂੰ ਡਿੱਗ ਗਿਆ ਉਦਣ ਉਹਦੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਦੇਰੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਹਨੇ ਉਸੇ ਵੇਲੇ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਗਲੇ ਨਾਲ ਲਾ ਲੈਣਾ ਬਾਬਾ ਨਾਨਕ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ would say ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸਿੱਖਾ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ if there is a delay and you're not seeing the light that delay is in you falling ਕਹਿੰਦੇ the moment you fall that one will pick you up and take you into his arms that is the birth of Guru Nanak and that is the birth of Akal Purkh Vaheguru Ji ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਬਿਰਦ ਪਛਾਣ over here Satguru Ji just like that Baba Nand Singh Ji is referring to Gurbani ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਾਨਕ ਗਰੀਬ ਟਹਿ ਪਿਆ ਦੁਆਰੇ ਹਰ ਮੇਲ ਲਿਓ ਵਡਿਆਈ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਾਨਕ over here Guru Ramdas Ji Pach Ji's beautiful shabad Guru Ramdas Ji Pach ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਾਨਕ Guru Ramdas Ji saying ਵਿਸਰਾਮ ਲੈ ਕਰਕੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਾਨਕ ਗਰੀਬ those that become ਗਰੀਬ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਅੰਦਰੋਂ ਗਰੀਬ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਅੰਦਰੋਂ ਡਿੱਗ ਗਏ those that fall from inside fall from that ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪਹਾੜ ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਚੜੇ ਹੁੰਨੇ ਆ ਨਾ that mountain that we've climbed of pride ਕਹਿੰਦੇ if you just come down from that mountain a little bit thinking ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀ ਆ thinking that I don't know God knows what I am and thinking that you know what cursing Vaheguru Ji for when something goes wrong and thinking that ਤਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਮਾੜਾ ਕੀਤਾ this is really bad what you've done and then in the other place that saying to Vaheguru Ji when something goes good accordingly to how I wanted it to go to my perception then I think nah you're right Vaheguru but I've got so much pride and I'm thinking it's all about me still not recognizing Vaheguru Ji and loving Vaheguru Ji in all conditions and that's why Path Ji ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਚੰਗੇ ਚੰਗਾ ਕਰ ਮੰਨੇ ਮੰਦੇ ਮੰਦਾ ਹੋਏ we read this ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ in ਆਸਾ ਕੀ ਵਾਰ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ ਆਪਾਂ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਆ sometimes what happens we listen to ਆਸਾ ਕੀ ਵਾਰ ਦਾ ਕੀਰਤਨ every day as well but we get so stuck into just listening to the tune into the ਰਾਗ but ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਸਿੱਖ ਉਹ ਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜ ਜਾਵੇ the rag was only there just so that we connect to the shabad ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਚੰਗੇ ਚੰਗਾ ਕਰ ਮੰਨੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ when something went all good then you think yeah it's all good thank you ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਪਰ ਮੰਦੇ ਮੰਦਾ ਹੋਏ but when something accordingly to your perception hasn't gone so well then you think ਕੀ ਕੀਤਾ ਤੂੰ ਰੱਬ what have you done here ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆਸ਼ਿਕ ਇਹੋ ਨਾ ਆਖੀਏ ਜੇ ਲੇਖੇ ਵਰਤੇ ਸੋਏ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ but that's not who you call a lover ਕਹਿੰਦੇ that's not who you call a lover ਆਸ਼ਿਕ Sangat Ji is a word that comes from Farsi and Arabic and it's Ashik eho na akhiye kende you cannot call that one an Ashik a true lover kende je lekhe varte so that gets into all these accounts that says why Guruji I want you to check this out look how good I was there because then it'll become a game then why Guruji will have to take us in then say oh you look if why Guruji's nature was like that oh you've done a good deed there he aja put you've done a bad deed there bhaja put you can run away now ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਲੇਖੇ ਕਤਹਿ ਨਾ ਛੂਟੀਏ ਖਿਨ ਖਿਨ ਭੁੱਲਣ ਹਾਰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸਾਡਾ ਤਾਂ ਹਾਲ ਇਹ ਆ our state is like this ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਲੇਖੇ ਕਤਹਿ ਨਾ ਛੂਟੀਏ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ if we show God our lekha the good and the bad that we've done and then we've got pride over the good that we've done and that's all we want to look at but remember within that book is going to be the bad as well so we shouldn't be attached to what good that we are doing ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਭਗਤ ਉਹ ਆ ਭਗਤ is that lets go of anything good that they have done ਪਾਚ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਲੇਖੇ ਕਤਹਿ ਨਾ ਛੂਟੀਏ I'll never be able to escape if I show you my account ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਖਿਨ ਖਿਨ ਭੁੱਲਣ ਹਾਰ because every moment it takes for me to blink my eye I make mistakes so ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਬਖਸ਼ਣ ਹਾਰ ਬਖਸ਼ ਲੈ ਨਾਨਕ ਪਾਰ ਉਤਾਰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ but this is the way forward with God is to say ਬਖਸ਼ਣ ਹਾਰ oh forgiving ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਬਖਸ਼ ਲੈ forgive me the moment I say ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ not to say look how good I've done is to say that ਬਖਸ਼ ਲੈ forgive me the moment we come down when we say ਬਖਸ਼ ਲੈ we don't say like this forgive me we don't put our chest out and speak in pride we say ਬਖਸ਼ ਲੈ we come down the moment we come down the magic happens and then that one does not take our account into account That one looks at us in that moment and that one will embrace us. ਤਾਂ ਉਹ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਫੇ ਉਸ ਸਮੇਂ ਗਲੇ ਨਾਲ ਲਾ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਨੇ, ਨਾਨਕ ਗਰੀਬ ਟਹਿ ਪਿਆ ਦੁਆਰੇ ਹਰ ਮੇਲ ਲਿਓ ਵਡਿਆਈ. Satguru Ji, ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ, here is talking about that. And sometimes we think that, no, oh my God, you don't understand what I've done though. What I've done is crazy. There's no way that I've got a chance. So coming back now to the Pankti, Hamri Ganatana Ganiya Kai Apna Bird Pachan, Guru Sahib Ji is telling us, Kende, that you don't need to worry. Kende, that is Vaheguru Ji's bird. That is Vaheguru Ji's nature. But but we're sometimes we think, no, oh my God, you don't get what I've done though. What I've done is crazy. So even in this moment now, even though I've surrendered, that Vaheguru Ji is not going to take me because what I've done is too crazy. Then we need to listen to this. If anyone's still got that thought in their mind that it's too late for them, that I've got no hope. How many people say that in their life? I've been there. I've been in that dark place when I've said, I remember messaging a Pyara Gursikh about 3.5 years ago, and I said, you know what, it feels like it's too late for me. It's over. And he replied, he said, it's never too late. And you know, this is what Satguru Ji is saying to us today. They're saying, Beta, oh my child, nahi, it's never too late. My Godi is always open for you. My laps are always open for you. That's why the Patt said about Guru Arjun Dev Ji, Pattan de Savaiya de Andar, those poets that came, that were learned of the Vedas, that came to Guru Arjan Dev Ji Padshah Ji, and they saw the nature of Guru Arjan Dev Ji. Seeing the nature of Guru Arjan Dev Ji, they says, Kaljug Jahaj Arjan Guru. This is Kaljug Jahaj Arjan Guru. This Guru Arjan Dev Ji, we've seen so many papis, we've seen so many sinners come to Guru Arjan Dev Ji. May have been that they were thieves that ruined and destroyed people's lives. But even if a thief like Baba Bhai Bidhi Chand came to Guru Arjan Dev Ji, the parts are saying, but you are Kaljug Jahaj Arjun Guru, that you are the boat of Kaljug, of this era, that takes us across. Kaljug Jahaj Arjun Guru. We're telling you, the Pats are saying this to us. We've witnessed it. This is what our Guru does. Sagal Sreshta Lag Betarho. Sagal Sreshta. The whole Guru Arjan Dev Ji Pats, the whole world can come. It doesn't matter who you are. If you attach to this boat, the Pats are saying, who stayed with Guru Arjan Dev Ji, we can tell you what Guru Arjan Dev Ji Pats Ji have done for those sinners, for people that thought they've got no hope, for those people that said it's too late for us. Can they know we've seen it with our own eyes? Can they sagal srest? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter from what part of the world they came from. It doesn't matter what caste they were carrying, whether they were saying that we're a high caste and they came with pride, whether they said that we've got no hope, we're born in a low caste family. It doesn't matter that how much weight they came with, that lug that they were able to attach, get onto that boat and betarho and be saved and taken across safely. Sangaji, what does all of that mean? Let's think about today. If there's not many of us that will be able to relate to an actual going on a boat or a ship, because it's not the way we travel nowadays, but the way we do travel is going on an aeroplane. So even though the word jahaj that we've seen in this pankti, the word jahaj now mostly for us gets used for an aeroplane. But when somebody like my father, when my dad was growing up, even my grandfather, even though there was aeroplanes then, but for them it wasn't very common. So jahaj wasn't actually a boat or a big ship back then. So can they think about this now on a worldly level? There's a few restrictions, isn't there? What you can take on. If you're going to travel on a plane, we know that there's a restriction of how much weight we can take with us, the amount of luggage that we can actually take on that plane. And then the other restriction is, so there's the weight, so there's the luggage. And Sangaji, just thinking about that in itself, that this luggage that we've got, there's many people that say, but you don't get it, I'm carrying so much luggage. But Satguru Ji Pacha Ji saying, that this boat is that it's not going to take into account how much luggage you've got. The worldly aeroplane might say to you, no, you've got too much weight. We say, but I'm carrying way too much. Saying, doesn't matter how much luggage, how much sins you are carrying. They said, but the boat of Guru Arjun Dev Ji will take you in. This is what this is talking about. So we don't want to say, look at my good, look at my bad. We don't want to get into those accounts. We just want to say, take from me now. And his birth is that he will. If still anyone's got any doubt, then let's listen to this. Satguru Ji Pacha say, Sun Sakhi, Man Jap Pyar, Ajaamal Udriya, Kehe Ek Baar. Guru Sahib Ji saying, if you still got any doubt that you cannot be saved and it's too late for you because you've done too wrong, too much bad, can they then listen to this? Can they listen to this Sakhi, Man Jap Pyar, and your mind will well up with love. And if you think that you've got no hope, can they Ajaamal Udriya, Kehe Ek Baar. Can they even Ajaamal was saved? Can they, he just said Vaheguru Ji's name once. And you can go onto our Basics of Sikhi YouTube page, as this Sakhi has been covered in depth by Bibi Gurprit Kaur. So you can actually watch that as well. It's a part of the Bhagat series. So do watch that Sakhi. But I'm just going to give you a very quick once over it. Ajaamal was somebody that was so sharp. His intellect, they said, at the age, his father was a Raj-Pandit. A Raj-Pandit means he was an actual scholar, a Brahmin scholar within the king's palace. And he would actually sana katha. So he would actually he would explain the Vedas to the king. That was his job. And he would advise them on religious matters. And his son, Ajaamal, at the age of 5, his father saw this kid is so sharp. And then he sent him to this amazing Vidya Guru who actually taught him about the Vedas. And they say by the age of 10, he had learnt so much, because he was so sharp. What it would normally take for somebody to learn in 20 years, he learned in 5 years. And his guru was so pleased with him, and he started to see that, what, this kid is a bit too sharp. And what you will see is, and I've seen this as well myself in children and in maybe myself as well, that when somebody's a bit too sharp, for one, they don't always pay attention fully, and they can be very inquisitive, and they always want to know something for themselves. There's those that you have that are pole means that are very innocent. Jidda ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿਤਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ. As you say to them, they'll do. ਜਿੱਥੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਿਠਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਉਹ ਬਹਿ ਗਏ. You say to them, sit, and they'll sit over there. But somebody that is inquisitive and very sharp, and they want to know things for themselves, they'll think, bhi main dekh lama. Oh, let me see how this works as well. And he had this about him. So his guru looked at him one day. He goes, beta, he goes, listen. He goes, Ajaamal. His guru said, he goes, you've got to be very careful. He could see that his mind's like really sharp and clever. He said, when you come to me, I don't want you to ever walk through the village. And I always want you, and as he's getting older now, because then he'll start understanding these things of why he can't go there. He says, I want you to take the longer route and walk around. And he obeyed his guru. He was obedient. And then, but because his mind was so acquisitive, and then he thought, pata nahi ki hoga utte, dekhe hunne ha. And as he's growing up now, he thought, I might as well check it out. So he went there. So this is a pella paap kita unne. We're talking about paps that I've done this, I've done that. You don't understand what I've done to my mother-in-law. You don't understand what I did to my husband. You don't get what I did to my children, but I've even committed, I've even killed people. That's extreme, isn't it? So you might, whatever it is, somebody might be sitting in prison because they've raped somebody. But here, Sache Pachaji, look at this. First mistake he made was he went against his guru. He went through that town. What did he see? What did he see when he went through this one particular town? As he was walking to his guru, he saw that there was actually a place called, if you translate it into English, it would translate to a prostitute den. So it's like a prostitute market. And he went through that and he saw that there was women there trying to lure people in, and he saw that there was men going up to them. He'd never seen anything like that before. And now, so what he's done is now he's exposed his indriya, his senses to this. Now he cannot take that out of his mind now. Whether he wants to or not, it's gone and it's stored in. Some people have the ability, the kirpa, the grace, to actually just take an image like that and take it as a teaching. But if we're not aware, it can actually ruin us. And when does it ruin us? This is how. So, first Pap, he's gone against his guru. These things have gone through his eyes. He's heard things and they've gone and sat in his, if it's not consciously sat there, he's sat in his subconscious mind anyway. Gone to his guru, and his guru saying, "What, you don't look right. You don't look all day." And he says, no, I'm fine. He didn't say anything. The guru didn't ask anything further as well, because he didn't acknowledge that there's anything wrong with him. But then he decides to go that way again. On his way home, he sees them again. But now, on that night, when he went to sleep, he started to have dreams about them. Somebody asked me just the other day, he said, should we take our dreams seriously? And I said, look, most dreams, there are those dreams where you can have Supan Darshan, where you can actually have Darshan, the vision of a great Mahapurkha being or a Guru within your dreams, and then there's a message. I said, but majority of our dreams, for 99% of the time for us, I said, it's just amalgamation of everything that's in our memory bank. And then what happens is, when we're dreaming, especially when we've overslept or something, we're overtired and we start to dream, and then all these different events, they all come together into one place and then make no sense. So all that was in his mind, he started to dream about those women, and then he would get up and all he could see is their images. When he came to the Guru again, the Guru looked at him. He said, you just do not look right. He said, where have you been? Tell me. He says, did you go through that village where I told you not to? And this is where he made the ultimate mistake. He lied to his Guru. That's why Asank Papi Paap kar jahe. As they said, a sinner, once he falls into that trap of committing sin, once you start becoming dirty, the first few sins will be difficult, but once you get into that cycle, it'll become easier and easier, because you're getting more blacker and blacker and more filthy. And then koi kale kapde te daag pੈ jawe, koi inna fark nahi sanu lagda. If something that is black, that gets more blackness on it, we don't really feel it. So then Asank Papi Paap kar jahe, and now he's going round and round. Asank Kudeyar Kude Firahe Paach is saying now that you've started to go into that cycle of lies. Hun jhoot bhi bolne lag piya. Now that's it. Now he's in trouble. Now those images that have gone into his head will now take him to another Paap. Asank Papi Paap. He will continue Paap now because it's getting more and more black. So what did he do? He actually went back and he started to go and see prostitutes. A few prostitutes actually pulled him in now, and he gave in because he's black now. And he started to have sexual relationships with various different prostitutes. And then what happened was that his Guru saw that this kid's not right. So his Guru followed him one day and he saw what he was doing, and he said the next day when Ajaamal came to him, he said, you know what? He goes, go. He goes, I can't teach you anymore. He left, but he told his father, he goes, look, the best thing to do is pull him in, and he goes, be strict with him and get him married. and see if you can get him to do some work in the king's palace, as in translating some scriptures there with you. His father did this, got him married, but even though he got married, and he got married to a beautiful woman, but now he wasn't satisfied because he's too black, and he continued going to the prostitutes. But he then fell in love with one of the prostitutes. And as he fell in love with one particular prostitute, during all this what's going on, his father passed away. As his father passed away, he took over the duty of his father in the king's palace, and then the king came to know what he was up to and what he was doing. People came and complained about him. The king said, look, get your act together, okay? He said, you really need to sort yourself out. And he goes, you've got a beautiful wife, you're going to lose your job. And he goes, that you need to leave all of this, what you are doing. And he said to the king straight, he goes, I can't leave her, the prostitute that he'd fallen in love with. He said, I'm not going to be able to leave her. He said, if you don't leave her, then the only option left for me is to banish you. I'm going to have to send you out the village. You can take a bit of your father's leftover wealth with you, but go, and you can't stay here. He left that village, and then he continued to commit more further sins to earn money, and he would day and night be just indulged in pleasure with now that prostitute that he lived with. And he had 6 children, and he was committing sins to earn money. He would go out and hunt as well. They were consuming a lot of meat, and eventually he just thought, what has happened to my life? His wife was pregnant now. The woman that he was with, the prostitute, was pregnant now. He had left his wife. He's lost everything. He's living in poverty, lost all their money because nobody wanted to deal with them, because they knew that everyone used to call him Papi Ajaamal, that sinner Ajaamal. The kings banished him, nobody go near him. And eventually he was living in so much poverty. His wife's pregnant, his mistress is pregnant again, and when she's pregnant with the 7th child, a sadhu was walking past the house, a saint was walking past the house, and she just looked at him and thought, I'd love to feed him, but what have we even got to feed him? And the sadhu saw that she was udas, that she had sadness on her face because they're regretting what they've done now. And the sadhu said, look, beta tu fikr na kar. He said, daughter, don't worry. He said, what I want you to do is, this child that you're going to give birth to, you name this child Narayan, and you make sure that your husband always calls out his name out aloud. Don't just say, oh son, or beta, or little one, shote, or anything like that. Always call him by his name out loud, Ajaamal. Ajaamal, to say Narayan. I want you to name him Narayan. And then Sangatji, as this child was born, and then this Ajaamal, he then started to think more righteously. They even fed, and they brought that sadhu home to feed him, and she had some corn, and she fed him that corn. And then he would say, Ajaamal bete, he would, maaf karna, Narayan bete, Narayan, come here, come and do this for me, Narayan, go and get this for me. And as he was saying Narayan, and Narayan is another name for God. And this, as he's just saying the name of God, and he's not even saying it consciously at the moment, but he's just saying it out as his child, he starts to feel cleansed from inside, because the sadhu had a jugti, the sadhu had a trick, because the sadhu said this is the name of God. And every so often he'd think that I'm saying as I'm saying the name of God, I should be more conscious of the things that I do in my life. That started to cleanse him. And that day Ajaamal was on his deathbed, and he's still regretting everything he's done, and he's still thinking that I've got no hope left in my life. As he's on his deathbed, Satguru Ji, Sache Paach Ji, they tell us about this. Kende Besua Ravya Ajaamal Udryo, Guru Ramdas Ji Paach Ji kende Besua Ravya, that one that was taking all these pleasures with that prostitute, kende Besua Ravat Ajaamal Udryo, kende even though he was so completely entangled in these pleasures of sexual acts with this prostitute. Kende Beswa Ravat Ajaamal Udro. Kende he was saved. Kende Mukh Bole. How? Mukh Bole Narayan Narahare. By just saying God's name Narayan. And Sangaji, it's not that he was saved the other times, because the other times he was still saying it within attachment of his son, that this is my son, Kende, oh my son. But this one last time, as he had now gotten used to saying Narayan, as he had gotten used to saying Narayan, he trained his mind to say Narayan. But before that, he wasn't still saying it with Ekagar Chitan, connecting it to Vaheguru. But on his last breath, what happened was, he saw the Jamdoots, he saw that the messengers of death are coming to take him away, to drag him away. He's there in this regret. Still, what have I done in my life? Oh my God, all these paps, all these sins that I've done. And now I can actually see there's loads of people that I'm not going to get into that now because the time's gotten so much. I've known people myself that I've met in the last 10 years who themselves, when they are about to die, they've actually started to see things and they've said it themselves, it's okay now, such and such has come and now I'm going to go freely. But Ajaamal could actually see messengers of death come into him, and he could see that they don't look happy, and he could feel that he's going to be dragged and beaten. But in that moment, unhe ekagar chit karke, out of this pure devotion, and he connected to that. Vaheguru Ji cried from inside and he says, oh Narayana, from inside, Beswa Ravat Ajaamal Udryo. Why Mukh Bole? It took him only once to say Narayan with complete devotion. He connected to Vaheguru, and it said, what happened to him? Kende Naal Narayan Mere Jamdoot na ave nere. Kende now that Narayan, actual Vaheguru Narayan is with me, Kende Jamdoot na ave nere, then no messengers of death can come anywhere near me. And then all those, they completely disappeared, because they can only come when there's jor inside of you, when there's attachment inside you, when there's pap inside of you. But in that one breath, he became pure. He connected to Vaheguru Ji and he was embraced by Vaheguru Ji. And today, that Papi, if you might be sitting at home and thinking it's too late for me, you might be thinking I've got no hope because of what I've done in my life. But Sangaji, somebody that had committed sin his whole life, and now today we remember him because only in one breath he said Vaheguru Ji and he was saved. And Gurbani talks about him today. A paudi is dedicated to him by Gurdas Ji. He's mentioned in Gurbani many times. Guru Ramdas Ji, or Bhagat Namdev Ji, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji mentioned Ajaamal. We might have committed so many sins, but Vaheguru Ji can lift us so high that Niche hai ooch kare mera Govind kahu te na dare. So Sangat Ji, Vaheguru Ji will not take our accounts into account. He will look at us for that moment we fall like Ajaamal fell. So haath de rakhe kar apne, Vaheguru Ji will make us their own. Kar apne, apna bana loge, will make us their own, and he will give us his own hand to look after us. Haath de rakhe kar apne, sada sada rangman. And then we will forever, in every moment, we will enjoy the love of Vaheguru Ji. No matter what we've done in the past. Remember, one important thing in that Sakhi is the training that he went through of saying Vaheguru, Vaheguru, Vaheguru. So some people might be thinking that I say Vaheguru, why haven't I got that connection yet? But remember, he trained himself first of saying it to as his son's name. We've got to keep saying it. Bar and bar prab japiye pi amrte ho man tantra piye. Then Sadguru Ji Pach Ji saying to us, Kende Sacha Sahib Sad Meherwan. Kende my Sacha, my true master Vaheguru Ji Sad Meherwan is forever kind, is forever compassionate, is forever merciful. That mercy it's not that Vaheguru Ji is sometimes angry with us and sometimes, no. Vaheguru Ji is forever merciful. It's just waiting that we don't position ourselves correctly to embrace Vaheguru Ji's mercy. Once we're positioned correctly, we'll receive Vaheguru Ji's mercy. Once we fall, Band Paya Mere Satguru Pure Band Paya. My true Guru, what does my Guru do for me? Band Paya. He puts me in a bondage. My Guru gives me a rahat and a discipline in how to live. When Guru Sahib Ji puts me in their discipline, and then what happened? Hoi sarb kalyan. Then I'll become free from everything else, from all the other attachments and greed and everything else that I was stuck in. I will become free from the way society wants me to live. I'll become free from all of that when I give myself to my Guru. Rahao. Kende bisram la ke kende is gal nu vicharo, kende contemplate this, that we might think that we are free, but no, we are not free. We only become free when we come into my Guru's bondage, and then we become free from everything else. Jio pae pind jin sajya, the one that gave me life. Jio pae, the one that gave me Jio pae, the one that put life inside of this body. Pai jene pind jin sajya, the one that actually established me, made this whole body. Ditta pandan khan, who gave me clothes to wear, who gave me food to eat, meaning gave me the Mata Tart Mahat, gave me that Tarti Mata, that Mother Earth that gives me grain. Vaheguru Ji, you gave me that Mother Earth that gives me grain. Pandan, even whatever I wear, came from the Tarti as well, came from Mother Earth as well. It is you that gives everything, Vaheguru Ji, from this body to this life, to this food, to these clothes. Apne das ki aap paj rakhi. You yourself, Vaheguru Ji, take care of your das, take care of your servants. Nanak Sad Qurban. Guru Arjun Dev Ji saying, I am a forever sacrifice to that one that is always taking care of me and looking after me. So Sangat Ji, the takeaway from today is, it's never too late, and there is always hope for us. And Satguru Ji Pacha Ji, never ever feel that you've done too bad in your life, or that I just haven't had the opportunity and I'm too old now and that's it for me now. If Ajaamal could be saved in his last breath and those messengers of death had to return and leave him, because now Vaheguru Ji was going to take him in their godi, in their embrace, then I'm sure we've got a chance as well. But let's not try and be clever with Vaheguru Ji to say, I hear many people say, yeah, it's alright that, I go out and get up to no good, and it's alright that I go and intoxicate myself and I go off and do this, that and the other with women or whatever, and I go to these strip bars, and he goes, but I still clock into the Gurdwara because I still go to the Gurdwara and do Matha Tek. And if we're going to say to Vaheguru Ji, check out my account, look at the good that I did, we're going to be in trouble. So let's do Ardas and let's all say Fateh. Lekhe kathe na chutiye, khin khin bhulan haar, bakshan haar bakshla, nanak pari utar. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.